Well, hello, friends. We are here live on the Roper stage in the Roper Cowboy Marketplace. We're starting a brand new show this year. It's called Foundation of the West. It's a little bit of a panel interview format. We've got a Power Patch group of ladies up here with me today. This show is all about introducing you and sharing stories of women where they meet the West. My name is Mackenzie Kimbrough. I am a sixth-generation cattle rancher, and I will be your host today. And like I said, we have an incredible group of women up here, all very much an important part of the rodeo industry. I'm going to start going down the line, introduce these ladies, and then I'll let them each tell you a little bit about their roots. So first off, we have former Miss Rodeo America 2017, Lisa Lucia, formerly Lisa Lagashar. We have Brandy Phillips, who is an incredible trick rider, as well as Haley Proctor, another incredible trick rider. Her husband and baby, family, they're all in the audience today. And then we have Miss Rodeo America 2020 and 2021, Jordan Tierney, and the newly crowned Miss Rodeo America 2022, Haley Fredrickson. So y'all give them a hand. Please make them feel welcome today. I love the support. They're clapping for each other up here. That's perfect. Yeah. Ladies, let's go ahead and go down the line. Tell us a little bit about your roots and background.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Yes, I am Lisa Lucia, formerly Lagashar, and that name is actually a Dutch name. So I'm first-generation American. My parents are dairy farmers in the northeast corner of Texas, and although I'm not a sixth-generation rancher, I guess you could say I'm a second-generation dairy farmer, although I stepped away from those roots and got involved into horses and rodeo. So that's a little quick backstory.
Hi, I'm Brandy Phillips. I'm from Central California. I do not have a horse background. My family has nothing to do with horses, but somehow I made a life into the rodeo industry. So thank you.
So I'm Haley Proctor. I was born and raised in Collinsville, Oklahoma. My whole family still resides there. Shane and I moved to Nowata a few years ago, but rodeo has been a part of our family forever. So my papa was a roper, my grandpa was a saddle bronc rider, my dad was a bull rider, and my uncle was a five-time NFR specialty act. So that's how I got introduced into rodeo.
Hello everyone, I'm Jordan Tierney and I reside on my family's ranch in Oral, South Dakota. We have a cow-calf operation there as well as raising American quarter horses. I've been very engulfed in the rodeo and western industry my entire life. My dad was a two-time world champion back in 79 and 80, and then my mom also professionally barrel raced herself. I have two older brothers and an older sister, and you can guess it, we all rodeoed, and did we have a choice? No, but I wouldn't have had it any other way.
I have my own microphone. I'm special over here. I'm the other Haley, and I am your new Miss Rodeo America. And yes, I represent the entire country now, but I reside in the beautiful Centennial state of Colorado. I live in, yes. I live in Wellington, so I'm about 30 minutes from Cheyenne, Wyoming, so I'm on the good side of Colorado. And I grew up basically in the saddle. I knew how to ride a horse before I could even sit up as a baby. And my mom barrel races, my dad team ropes. I did follow in my mom's footsteps. I barrel raced for a very long time, but my dad decided to put a rope in my hand, so now I'm roping with him, and I'm really excited about that new adventure. And of course, carrying on this beautiful Landstrom's Black Hills Gold Crown through 2022. And I got a good, strong agricultural background in 4-H, graduated from CSU in 2019, and a proud representative of not only the rodeo industry, but agriculture as well.
I would say the future of the industry is in good hands with ladies like these serving as role models all across the country in all of your various endeavors. I'd like to go ahead and start at the end with Haley and tell us a little bit, how did you guys get into what you all do now, into rodeo royalty competitions and then also into each of your specialty disciplines?
Yeah, so just like I said, I practically grew up in the saddle, kind of like Jordan. I didn't really have a choice, but I'm so glad that I wasn't given that choice because look at the amazing opportunities I've been given now. And so with that being said, I started barrel racing. I remember there's pictures of my dad leading me in those lead line classes. So I did barrel race for a long time. I took a break from it actually and did competitive dance, danced professionally for a hockey team. So a little bit of a side story from the rodeo industry. But you know, dancing really helped me with my stage presence and being really comfortable in front of other people. And so I have to accredit dance to kind of being comfortable as a rodeo queen because you're always in front of other people. But besides that, I kind of got back into rodeo and the Western lifestyle that I grew up in when I got into college. And I majored in animal sciences with a minor in agricultural business. And I graduated from Colorado State University, go Rams, in 2019. And, that kind of got me back into my rodeo roots. My first rodeo queen title was in 2009. And I never looked back, and I held another title in 2018. I was Miss Rodeo Deer Trail, home to the world's first rodeo on July 4th, 1869. So that was a pretty awesome title to hold. Got me back into rodeo queening. I tried out for Colorado twice. The first year was not very successful, but I knew I was going to become Miss Rodeo Colorado. I didn't know when, but I knew I was going to. And so I tried out that second year, got it, and was Miss Rodeo Colorado for 2 years. So just like Jordan was Miss Rodeo America for 2 years, I was Miss Rodeo Colorado for 2 years. And I really feel as though that had really prepared me for the Miss Rodeo America pageant. And I'm still in absolute shock that I'm now Miss Rodeo America 2022.
Jordan?
Yes, so like I said, I grew up in rodeo, but I never rodeo queened when I was younger. My mom, she was a former Miss Rodeo South Dakota in 1985, so I always had that influence of a rodeo queen, and I always paid attention to who Miss Rodeo South Dakota was and who Miss Rodeo America was. A few that really stuck out to me was Amy Wilson and Mackenzie Haley Weiss, and I always, I loved following them. And then I graduated college in May of 2017. I was home working, and in the winter of 2018, I came home one day from work, and my sister goes, "Jordan, I think you should run for Miss Rodeo South Dakota." And it kind of had always been in the back of my mind, and I was like, well, you know what? The time is now. If I'm going to do it, why not? Why not take a leap of faith? So I just started looking into it. Actually, I researched Lisa quite a bit. I was like, oh, she was because she'd just given up Miss Rodeo America, and it was Carrie Sheffield in 2018. And so I really looked to Lisa and Carrie as I was getting ready for Miss Rodeo South Dakota. And I got very blessed in my journey to it. I've had 3 titles: Miss Days of 76, 2018, Miss Rodeo South Dakota 2019, and then Miss Rodeo America 2020 and 2021. And there's just one thing I just want to bring that kind of came full circle for me this past week when I was at the pageant. We had our governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem, there, and she gave a piece of advice. She gave a lot of pieces of advice, but one that really stuck out to me was she said, just say yes. And it really hit me because it was in that moment that, a few years ago, just a few short years ago, I said yes to being a rodeo queen. And I came from a competitor standpoint, and I was like, I don't know if I'd ever do that. I was like, I was hesitant about it. And I'm so thankful I said yes, because it's taken me leaps and bounds and taken me to places and memories that, I could never get back. So it was amazing. And so 3 years ago, I said yes to being a rodeo queen, and here I am.
And 2 of those years were rodeo queen for Miss Rodeo America, which we will get to in a moment. Haley?
So I think like most of the girls on this stage, I was born and raised on a horse. So my dad worked on an exercise track whenever I was little. We were at the barns every day. My papa had a horse saddle for me anytime I wanted from the time I was 2 years old. I think my favorite thing was to go do was ride in the rain. And he would take me without hesitation. But I watched my uncle growing up. When I was 4 years old, I started hanging off my horse and standing up on my horse, and my parents decided that if I was going to do it, then I needed to do it the correct way. So I started learning the fundamentals, and I worked my first PRCA rodeo at 5 years old. And I've never looked back. So I've been performing ever since, and when I was 18, I stepped out on my own. I got my own card. Now I'm the 3-time top 5 PRCA Specialty Act, nominated for top 5 PRCA Specialty Act of the Year. And it's a huge blessing that's done so much for my family. I met my husband through rodeo. We started our family in rodeo, and now my little girl's growing up in it. And she's already trying to stand up on horses, so I think she'll be following in our footsteps pretty soon. But it's been a whirlwind throughout my whole life, and I would never change it.
Brandy?
Hello. So like I said, my family, we had horses when I was younger, but I did not grow up in the industry whatsoever. So my grandmother had a horse ranch when I was a kid and then sold it And my mother actually trick rode as well, but it was before I was ever thought of. So I've seen these things in the family, and when I was 12, I went out to Riata Ranch, which is where my mother trick rode at. And I was supposed to stay for one summer, and I stayed with Riata Ranch for 13 years. And so Riata Ranch is a 60-year program that teaches mentorship and leadership through performance and trick riding and trick roping. And I think that was a big reason why I stayed, because I had some trials and tribulations in my younger life with my family. So Riata Ranch really gave me the tools and a direction to go and something positive to do. And you pass it on to all these kids, everything you learn. And as an adult now, all those little things that Jennifer Nicholson hammered into our heads when we were kids, they matter so much now as an adult. And I realized how special that was, because it wasn't really about trick riding. It was about preparing us to go out in the world and do whatever we wanted to do, whether it was in the rodeo industry. There's Riata alumni that are fashion designers. And I can tell you, any generation of Riata girl has had the same experience, and we all share the same thing, even though we all do totally different things in our lives. So I was lucky. I did stay with Riata for 13 years and was a main performer and trainer. I've been to Australia teaching. I've been to Canada rodeoing, all across the United States. We did trick rope in Queen Elizabeth's Diamond Jubilee celebration at Windsor Castle, and which was phenomenal. I would have loved to trick ride, but it's a lot easier to travel with your rope in hand, so that made it a little more convenient. And we also were nominated 5-time Act of the Year, top 5, so I got to do a lot of great things with Riata. But at the end of the day, those are just memories, and those get buried with you when you go. And so I'm just thankful that Riata gave me a lot of things to do and taught me. So now I've moved on and done things for myself, and I still teach trick riding in Texas now. And so, yeah, and now I'm here.
Lisa?
Yeah, so my main takeaway, I feel like, from all 4 of these girls and for myself is that a cowgirl is born and not made. And I said I grew up with a dairy farming family, first-generation American, also first-generation Texan, and I'm just going to say that was all a part of God's divine plan for my life, because I would not have had it any other way. My dad actually would have loved if I would have never ridden a horse, because he grew up with my grandfather, his dad, who was a horse trader back in Europe, in the Netherlands, and my poor dad had to ride every rotten pony through the sale ring, and to get them a little more broke to flip them and sell them. And I don't know where it came from, because my dad still to this day isn't comfortable around horses. My mom kind of likes them, but I'm pretty sure I said horse before I ever said mom or dad as a baby. I was obsessed. And so again, it was only a fit that I was born in Texas, and I literally would not give up the fact that I wanted a horse, and finally got one when I was 5 years old. And we'd been to rodeos. I mean, of course, being in Texas, there's an amateur or pro rodeo around every corner, and my parents were intrigued by the Western culture. And I not only got intrigued by it, but absolutely fell in love with it. And I will probably ride horses and compete in the sport of rodeo till I physically cannot walk anymore. Since Miss Rodeo America, I've trained a couple barrel horses. I'm a student, and I cannot wait to graduate so I can focus on those barrel horses. I've team roped here and there, but all in all, truly believe that a cowgirl is born and not made, and that's kind of how my journey evolved. Although I wasn't born into a rodeo family, I was born a cowgirl, and I'll be that till the day I die.
Put that on a bumper sticker, and let's get that on all these ladies' trucks. Obviously, a lot of passion, grit, determination, and of course, grace on our stage today. Excited to dive a little bit deeper into each of your stories and ask you some questions about the future of the industry. But I'm actually going to have Miss Haley Fredrickson give her final words for you, maybe a little piece of advice that you'd like to share with the audience. Because Haley, as the new Miss Rodeo America, has an extremely busy schedule and has to leave us today. But just a little bit of a parting word from you, Haley.
Yes, I'm so sad to be already leaving, but thank you so much for having us on your show today. And just one last piece of advice I'd like to leave you all, and I know it sounds cliche, but just stay true to yourself. God put us on this earth to be ourselves. I always say, don't take someone else's shoes because they're already taken. So stay true to who you are, stay true to your beliefs, your values, your morals, because God has an intention for all of us. And I didn't trust him until just a few years ago when I didn't win Colorado that first time. But he has gifted me 2 incredible years as a state queen. And he's gifted me another year as the most incredible title possibly you can ever hold, which is Miss Rodeo America. So I have complete faith in him, and I know he has a plan for all of us. And I think if you follow in his word, he has great things for you. And when people say God is great, God is really great. And I can't wait to see what he has in store, not only for 2022, but for years to come. So thank you all.
Let's give Miss Haley Frederickson, your Miss Rodeo America 2022, a hand. Haley, thank you so much for being here. We'll have you back on next year, and then you can give us a follow-up of how it all went down. Folks, we're going to take about a minute break here. Just grab the chair off the stage. Stay right where you're at. We'll be right back.